it's Missy, and today I'm here to share with you guys my top 16 of 16. I read 146 books, so the top 16 was kind of easy, kind of not. I am very generous with my rating system. If you guys haven't seen how I rate my books, I will leave that video link down below. But basically, if the book is engaging and it was fun to read, and I didn't have any problems with it whatsoever, it gets a 5-star. 4 stars are usually a little bit slow-paced, or I didn't really like a character, or yada yada. 3 stars are if the book was just good. It was okay, nothing really too bad happened, but I don't think I would ever read it again. 2 stars was just, oh my gosh, I don't recommend this book. 1 star, I don't very rarely have 1-star books, but those ones wish I just want to burn and never see again. 3-star books I do not keep on my shelves unless it is part of a series, whereas I need to have it in order to contain the whole series. But if I do have a 3-star, I usually give them away in my tradeaways. So let's get started on the top 16. This isn't in any particular order until we get to the top 5. So first off, we have Last Sacrifice by Richelle Mead. This is on my list because I love Rose and Dimitri's story. I liked the way the ending, happened and so forth, and I'm gonna miss this series. I might reread it at some point in time, but I really did enjoy Richelle Mead's writing. And then for 15, I have Alice by Christina Henry. This was a great adult retelling of Alice in Wonderland. Basically, all of the characters are humans instead of animals, and I loved how adult it was. It was my first take on adult, and it was really adult. There's lots of gore, too. For 14, I chose a YA, which is Diary of a Haunting by M. Verano. I really enjoyed this story. It is in diary format. The house is haunted. The girl is going cuckoo, and we don't know what's going to happen at the end, and I just really liked the twist. Next, I have John Scalzi's Red Shirts. I really enjoyed John Scalzi this year, and Red Shirts is on the list because it was such a funny book, and I didn't expect to like it since I've never really had any interest in Star Trek. This made me want to watch all of them. It was really good. And then, of course, I have Lock-In. This is the first John Scalzi book I listened to, and again, I'm not very into sci-fi, and this was just a lot of fun. It's about a futuristic time period where people have machines that work for them. So their brains are active and they are making the machines move around and talk and yada yada, but their bodies are stuck in bed because of a virus. So love it. That was a very simplistic way of talking about the book, but if you like sci-fi, I would highly recommend checking those out. All right, next I have a nonfiction, which is Smoke Gets in Your Eyes and Other Lessons from the Crematory by Caitlin Doughty. I always forget how to say her name. I just really enjoyed this book. I'm all about the afterlife and what happens when you die and the body itself. That's all very interesting to me, and so this was a great look on all of those subjects. So I thought she did an amazing job, and I highly recommend. And then I read an adult book, which I don't do very often. I mean, I do, but I don't. And this is an adult contemporary dystopian-y kind of book. This takes place in the semi-future. It's after a horrific flu-like virus spreads through the entire world and kills almost everybody, and the aftermath of what happens with that. The reason why this is on my 2016 top list is because even though there are lots of different characters, the entire book is weaved so beautifully. Like, it's so seamless. I was so confused at how she did it. Like, at no point in time reading did I not know who the speaker was. All the stories, just was so well connected, either through flashbacks of the past and then what's going on in the present and throughout all the different POVs. It was just amazing. Stunning writing. Really liked this story. And then I have another adult book. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I actually have a lot of adult books on this list. This is another adult book. This is The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield. This is a mystery set in London about a woman who receives a letter from a very famous writer who is a recluse, and this recluse writer asks her to write her biography, and the woman is very taken aback and not really sure she wants to do it, and then she finds out that this old woman is just super interesting, and she just loves finding out more about her, and then writing her biography. Just, it grabs the reader and you just want to keep on reading and find out what that mystery is. It was so, so good. Loved it. All right, and then we have Lolita, the classic by Vladimir Nabokov. Again, I listened to this on audio. If you haven't picked this up because you're afraid of the content, I think listening to it is a little bit easier to take than, putting your own voice in the words. I don't know why that would make any sense, but it did for me, and I really enjoyed the reading. Maybe because it was not me personally reading it, it was someone else reading it to me, if that makes sense. So I felt a little bit taken away from the story. I don't know where I'm going with this, but it was really, really good. And then, of course, I have Illuminae and Gemina by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I just enjoyed this. It's a series. So I enjoyed these two books so much this year. I'm so happy I got to read both of them. And yeah, I cannot wait to continue on with this sci-fi. It's just so good. And then I have another two books here, and that is the Bloody Mary retelling. We have Mary the Summoning and Mary Unleashed by Hilary Monahan. YA horror queen at this point in time. She is on the same level as Danielle Vega, but right now she has surpassed her. So I just cannot wait for anything else she writes in the future. If you haven't picked her up yet and you do like horror and you read YA, I would definitely pick up this duology. It's very easy to read, and it is, like I said, very scary. Now we're down to my last 5 books of my 2016 picks, and number 5 is Stephen King's It. This monster was absolutely amazing, and for some reason this is one of the highest viewed videos that I've ever created on my channel. I mean, I get a lot of views on some of my book hauls, but this is a review and nobody listens to my reviews. And this one actually has 6,000 or something crazy, some crazy number. That's how many views I have on this review, which is astonishing to me because I'm not very good at speaking perfect example of what I'm doing right now. I have a hard time collecting my thoughts when I'm speaking for some reason. I can write it all down a lot better. But this one was very, very good. And if you are interested in watching my review of it, I will leave that video down below. Number 4 is a collection. That is the entire Parasol Protectorate series by Gail Carriger. This is an adult urban fantasy set in Victorian London with steampunk elements. Oh my gosh. I have watched lots of people talk about this series and say, oh, it's so good. So I had to try it out myself, and it did not disappoint. I absolutely loved the entire series. And number 3 is Hex right here. Again, I don't have the book. My friend still has my book, but here is the picture. Very well written horror novel. You guys all know how I like my horror. This one was gripping and scary and nail biting and gross at times and just all of the above. And that ending, ooh, that ending, I kind of freaked out a little bit. So there's that. My number 2 on the list is Bird Box by Josh Malerman. This had to be on my list. Again, nail-biting, scary. The Hex and Bird Box, both, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was going to happen. I was, literally biting my fingernails. This one is super creepy because you don't know what is going on outside because everybody has all of their windows, closed off, and everybody's blindfolded. And if you look outside, you turn into a madman and start killing off either people or yourself. And we don't know as the reader what is out there. It could be an alien. It could be a monster. It could be, just a scary serial killer guy. It could be anything, a ghost. We don't know what it is. That's what's so scary. You don't know. And the unknown is always scary. And then my very favorite book of 2016 was Joe Hill's Nosferatu. This very, very big book was just so good. It's about a mom. Well, let's backtrack. It's about a girl who discovers that she can ride her bicycle over a bridge and be anywhere she wants. So say she went to San Diego and lost her watch in San Diego, but then flew back to Chicago and realized, oh no, I left my watch in San Diego. She can ride her bike from Chicago through that little bridge and end up in San Diego exactly where her watch was last seen and find her watch. And that is her shtick. She's able to go across this, magic bridge and go to any destination she wants that she's looking for something. Well, there's a man who has a car who can do the same thing. And that's all I'm going to say about the book, because their lives intertwine in the most beastly way, and it's so good. And this book here made me like Christmas even more, because Christmas is a time of, snow and sparkles and lights, and I like October. I like Halloween because it's dark and twisted and scary. This book made Christmas scary, which makes me happy. And this cover, I fought tooth and nail for this cover. It took me a year to get this book. I'm so excited. I finally have this edition. It's fabulous. The Wraith is the best thing ever. And again, if you want to know about the Wraith and the Christmas man and the girl and her bike, check out this book. It was so good. If I put any spoilers in any of these books, I do apologize. I am not very good at not knowing what a spoiler is. I think a non-spoiler review is me not giving the ending away or any of the plot twists. But I could be wrong. I don't know. Anywho's, so those are all my top 16 of 16. And I do have a stack of honorable mentions. The first one is On the Edge of Gone by Corinne Doivas. This is a YA sci-fi about an autistic girl who is trying to find a way to get onto a spaceship with her mother and her trans sister. And the reason why they need to get on a spaceship is because a comet is coming to annihilate Earth. And it was very good. And the next book I have here is Brain on Fire, My Month of Madness by Susanna Callahan. This is a nonfiction about Susanna's month with a bacterial brain infection and what happened while she was in the hospital during that month. That was a very scary time, and it was a great, engaging read. If, someone's suffering could be engaging. I don't know, I thought it was interesting. The next book I have is Woman in Black by Susan Hill. I really do like my gothic horror, and this was a great read, so I added it to the list. I also have Insanity by Cameron Jace because I love Alice in Wonderland retellings and because this was such a fun read. And my last book is With Malice by Eileen Cook. This was a great mystery. I read lots of mysteries, and this one I did not see coming. And I liked the ending. I personally thought that was the best ending. So, yes. All right, down to the last books. I do have a very small pile of books that I did not enjoy or were disappointed with in 2016. So the first book I have is Insanity by Susan Vaught. That was the very first book I read in 2016, and I was disappointed because it was very confusing, it was very slow, and there was an insta-love, and I absolutely despise insta-love. The next book I have is Through the Woods. It's a graphic novel written by, what is her name? Emily Carroll. The reason why this was a disappointment to me is because everyone hyped this book up so much, and I just thought it was okay. I did enjoy all the illustrations, but most of the stories weren't scary, or they just felt unfulfilling, if that makes sense. Like, just, I know short stories have to be quick, but if you don't give me the beginning and the end of a story, it's incomplete. And a lot of her stories in that book were like the middles of stories, and so it kind of irritated me. I did like some, but not all of those stories. And then there was A Wrinkle in Time by Madeline L'Engle. I totally enjoyed, you can see it right here behind me, the graphic novel, which is so good, because I think A Wrinkle in Time is better in picture form. And the illustrations just went so well with the story itself. The actual original novel to me seemed rushed, and it felt incomplete, like there was not enough information, why there was so much jumping, and I don't know. I don't want to give away the book, but it seemed incomplete and rushed at the end, so I didn't enjoy it as much. And then there was Blankets by Craig Thomas, another graphic novel that I read this year that was really hyped up on BookTube, and I think it's an autobiography of the author when he was younger, and it was like it's a Christian fiction graphic novel, and it felt a little like forceful in its meaning. I didn't enjoy it, and I of course have nothing against religion itself, but I don't want it to be preachy, and it felt preachy to me. And then there is Bad Girls Don't Die by Katie Allender. This book was not scary, and it could have been, because it's about possessed dolls. I thought it was going to be great, and it did not live up to my expectations. And then, of course, there is The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. The first book that I read by her, We Always Have Lived in the Castle, was creepy and fantastic. This one, I didn't like any of the characters. I expected more horror out of the story because the house is supposed to be the most haunted, and it just didn't feel that way. It just felt very mediocre. I actually liked the movie better for some reason, which makes me sad. And I love that edition, and I will keep it forever, even though I didn't fully enjoy it as much as I wanted to. And then there is Haunted by Chuck Palahniuk. This was just so weird for me. I liked Fight Club because it was more down to earth. This one was just kind of too weird. Like, I can't say anything. I wish I could say things. If you guys want to talk about this book with me in message, or on Twitter or whatever, let me know, because I want to talk about this book, but I can't. This book was just so freaking weird. It was so weird. Like, I can't say it. And then my very last book on my disappointed list is Possession. I loved Diary of a Haunting so much, and then to read this one and have it not be the same level as Awesomeness made me really sad. I mean, it was okay, but it wasn't great. And that is it. Those are all of my favorites of 2016, my honorable mentions, the books that I didn't quite enjoy. I do have graphic novels that you guys should definitely check out, and that is Saga, The Wicked and the Divine, Something New, which was the one that I shared with you guys by Lucy Measley. She's an amazing writer. And then there's Giant Days, anything by Doug TenNapel. If you have kids and you want to read them middle grade graphic novels, or if you think that they would like to read middle grade graphic novels, Doug TenNapel is amazing. My son read his books and loved them. And then, of course, there's Lumberjanes and my favorite, Nimona. I loved that graphic novel this year. And that is it. That's all the books I'm going to share with you guys in this video. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!